Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and today we are going to talk about frontal bone. So let's start our topic with introduction. Frontal bone is one of the unpaired cranial bones of human skull. It is located at the front of cranium. It plays a vital role in protecting the brain and forming the framework of the forehead, eye socket and nasal cavity. Being a single bone, it occupies a central position and articulates with several other bones of the skull. Location and structure of frontal bone. Frontal bone lies at the anterior part of cranium. It consists of a vertical portion that is squamous part that forms the forehead and a horizontal portion that is orbital part that contributes the roof of the orbit and nasal cavity. At birth, it develops in two halves which fuses during early childhood at the metopic sutures. In some adults, this suture may persist. Parts of frontal bone include one squamous part, orbital part, and nasal part. Now let's talk about these parts one by one. So first part of frontal bone is squamous part. It forms the forehead. It contains frontal eminence that is rounded elevation on either side which are more prominent in children and females. It includes the supraorbital margin that forms the upper edge of the orbit. It contains the supraorbital foramen or notch which transmits nerves and blood vessels to the forehead. Next part of frontal bone is orbital parts. They form the roof of the orbits that are also called as eye sockets. They contain depression for lacrimal gland and groove for blood vessels. Next part of frontal bone is nasal part. It is situated between the orbits. It articulates with nasal bone and form part of nasal tooth. Special features of frontal bone include frontal sinuses. They are two air-filled cavities that are located inside the frontal bone above the orbits. They lighten the weight of skull and contribute to the resonance of the voice. Next feature of frontal bone is glabella. That is a smooth area between the eyebrows that is located just above the nasal bridge. Third feature is superciliary arches. They are the bony ridges above the orbits and they are more prominent in males. Talking about articulations of frontal bone. Frontal bone articulate with 12 bones of the skull. They include cranial bone and articulation with facial bones. Articulation with cranial bones include articulation with two parietal bones, one sphenoid bone and one ethmoid bone. And articulation with facial bone include articulation with two nasal bones, two zygomatic bones, two maxilla and two lacrimal bones. Functions of frontal bone. First function is protection as it forms the anterior part of skull and safeguard the frontal lobes of the brain. Second function is support as this bone contribute to the formation of forehead, orbits and nasal cavity. Third function is facial structure as this bone gives shape and prominence to the upper face. Fourth function is air passage regulation as this bone houses the frontal sinuses which are involved in air filtration and resonance. Fifth function is attachment as this bone provides anchoring point for muscles of facial expression. Conclusion of this lecture video. Frontal bone is single, strong cranial bone that play an essential role in structure and protection of the skull. It contributes to the forehead, eye sockets and nasal cavity. It houses the frontal sinuses and articulates with several other bones. Its importance lies not only in protection of brain but also in forming the characteristic appearance of human face. And this was all about frontal bone. Hopefully you liked the video. If you do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment. Thank you for watching.